Sometimes you just have to decide what's best for the horse. Is it more important to the bottom line to get done in a week or 2 weeks? Or is it more important to the horse to go a little slower? You're not going to set the world on fire by your quantity of horses that you stick through your facility. Every once in a while, a horse will come along that bottom line isn't important. It just so happened that this little horse struck a nerve with me. And I'll go as slow as I need to, just to prove to this little horse that its past has got nothing to do with reality. Everything that we've done with Promise, yes, we could have done it faster. But if I'm going to go around here saying what I say about working with horses and abandon all of that because I got a tough horse, that makes me a hypocrite. And I'm not a hypocrite. I refuse to sell out just because it took a little bit longer. And I'm going to do what I have to do to prove to this horse that I was right. It doesn't have to be worried. So right there is a perfect example. We could have thumped this horse on the butt more than once. But this horse has already had trouble. It doesn't need any more. I'm proving to myself, as much as I'm proving to Promise, that violence is not the answer. This is my, I don't even know the word. I have got no idea in the world the word to use. If you can take a horse that will actually physically hurt itself to get away from you and convince it to let you put a halter on it and move it around, and to let you touch it and pet it, you got to have a little compassion. Now, you can't take on, if you're trying to generate income training horses, you do have a schedule you need to keep so you can pay the light bill. I'm proud to say that there's a lot of trainers in my area that when they get a little horse, or when they get a horse that's going to end up costing them money, because of the place that it's at in its development. I am really proud to say a lot of those trainers bring those horses to me for a couple of weeks, and I can get them back on track. This little horse was almost emotionally and mentally stunted. Zero interaction. And if it did get interacted with, I'm assuming you backed the trailer up to the pen and drove it in like a feedlot steer. You live a couple of years like that, and it'll change how you look at things. I'm absolutely probably going slower than a professional trainer would go. But look at the results. Are we where the famous trainers would be? No, probably not. Do I care? No, probably not. Does Promise appreciate the time that I'm taking? I think so. Bottom line is, I handle quite a few horses a year, and if this horse takes a little more time, I don't care. I'm not doing it for the how many numbers can I stick through my facility. I'm not doing it for how much money can I make. All the people that kind of have a problem with how slow I'm going, those are not the reasons that I make these videos. I'm making these videos for the people out there that might have one old heart horse that they can't bear to get rid of, and they want to figure out how to get along with it. Just common people, just like me. I'm just a common person. Well, my methods are tried and true. My methods, I didn't invent any of this. I was influenced by some of the greatest horsemen, and I'm not gonna mention a whole bunch of names because that doesn't make me better by saying names. What makes me better is horses like this. So this horse is a college professor. The ones that don't know how to lead, or the ones that don't know how to tie, or the ones that got this problem or that problem, gosh, we just fix them. We show the owners how to fix them, and we squirt them on through. The ones that are really tough puzzles, if you truly want to perfect your craft, you want to seek out horses like this, and don't expect to get rich handling them. But horses like this will get you to a place where you can actually physically and mentally and emotionally help a horse. The bottom line is we just want to help them. You saw me just a second ago. She turned her butt to me 3 or 4 times, but then when she did get right, we just put the halter on her. I'm not going to settle for that forever. No, I'm not that much of a damn cosmic carrot feeder. But the reason I put up with it was when I got her in that spot that she knew, I knew she would let me put that halter on. So tomorrow when I put the halter on, I'll just get her to that spot quicker. That makes me better. If I'm better, I can help her more. And that's why I still do it. If you're getting any value out of these videos, once again, the subscription doesn't cost nothing. But if you're watching these videos on YouTube, subscribe to Equine Kindergarten. Hell, hit like, hit share. Might help one of your friends. If you're watching these on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. Butch Mowdy. And if you like the videos, hit like or share. I am going to say one thing that's not horse related. I took a stand the other day about something that I personally was convicted to say, and I lost 20 followers. I don't care. If I had lost every single follower, it would have been fine. There comes a time, just like this horse, there comes a time when we need to take a stand for what we believe in. And just now when you saw me catch this horse, I'd taken a stand to not punish this horse for not knowing what's going on up here. I will get this horse to follow my feel and read my intentions by leading by example. Now, am I going to let her hurt me? No. Am I going to let her do something that I'm going to treat her better than she treats me? Because one day, I believe this, if I teach her the right stuff, she will treat me better than I treat her. And that's the whole principle behind Equine Kindergarten. Follow a feel, read my intentions, reward the tries, don't train with punishment. But punish them if you have to, but let the punishment fit the crime. Don't be coming in here with the buggy whip and spanking her butt until she stands in the middle of the pen frozen to where when you touch her, she just crawls out of her skin, and prove to her beyond a shadow of a doubt that humans suck. How about just cut her some slack? When she gets in the right spot, reward her. Now we're going to take her out of this pen. We're going to move her around out here. And we'll see how that's going to go. I'm going to set this up to, oh, that post is in the way, but that's okay. I think I'll move it right to there. And we'll go on the other side of the camera here. Come along, Promise. Come along. My goal is to get her to where I can do everything that I can do with my saddle horse babies. I still haven't picked up the feet yet. And some of these horses, don't you be disappointed if you've got something at home. It seems like you have to start over every day. Well, my hero said, if you have to start over every day, then you have to start over every day. I want to rub her feet. I'm dying to pick those feet up. What I'm being is a tree. I just want to rub her feet. And I want her to stand still while I do it. And it's going to take the time it takes. I'm not a hypocrite. If I truly believe that it takes the time it takes, then I better be willing to take the time that it takes. I figure this little horse deserves my best, and my best is the truth. So I told her the truth. I didn't lie to her. I'm not going to be the cosmic guy until I lose my temper and then tip her upside down and teach her learned helplessness and shut her down. I'm just going to keep rubbing her until she lets me rub her. Believe it or not, getting petted is an acquired taste. And it is time for her to get over herself and trust me more. Yeah, I agree. So, instead of just calling a little bit good, we are stepping it up. We are going to be a little bigger and a little more persistent, but the same principles will apply. I do notice that she has trouble. I notice that. She knows that I know that. And I want her to stand still while I rub her feet. And if I truly believe that it takes the time it takes, we're going to wait. Pull pressure means come forward. There. If I truly believe that it takes the time it takes, then I'm going to take the time it takes. But my hypocrisy only goes so far. I'm not going to get a smaller flag. I'm not going to get a handkerchief or just a stick with no flag on it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to rub her with this flag. I'm not going to shut her down. I'm not going to freeze her up. I'm not going to teach her learned helplessness. I'm going to pet her with this flag. Yeah. And she's going to stand still. Yeah. Made up my mind. How I approach that is I don't care how long it takes. I truly do not care how long it takes. I'm going to prove to her that I can rub her feet with this flag, and she can stand still. I'm just as stubborn as she is afraid. My saddle horses are looking at us over the fence there, probably wondering what the hell's going on. But I am going to do what I set out to do. And if I truly believe the things that I say, I'm going to give her the same treatment as I do a regular horse. And expect the same things, but I'm going to go at the pace that she can handle, but I am going to pet her face, her legs with this flag. Am I going to stay safe? Yeah. Am I going to keep her safe? Yeah. Am I going to lose my temper? No. She needs to practice accepting adversity anyway. This is not hurting her. But I'm not mad about it. I'm not angry in the least. But she's got to learn to understand that when I ask her to do something, that's what we're going to do. If we quit when we're getting, she needs to back up off that pressure. We've been chipping away at this backing up. She doesn't get to freeze up, and she doesn't get to tell me no. She did what I asked. I firmed up. She did it. She tried. And I let go. I'm not mad at all. If you could see her face, she's licking and chewing. But we are going to pet her legs today with this flag. Now that didn't hurt her a bit. There's an inside part right there above her hock. There we go. There. Now we're going to pet this leg with the flag. And she's going to stand still. Not because I was violent, not because I hit her, but because it takes the time it takes. And I'm not a hypocrite. If I'm going to say that to people, I better be living it. Now, there. Now I'm going to pet this other front leg. Underneath her belly. Now we're going to go pet this back leg again. She can relax. I'm not hurting her. There. I can pet this back leg. She can stand still and accept it. I'm not over here waving it like a Comanche. Just rubbing it. Much better. Now I got one more hind leg to touch. Pull pressure means forward. That's a 1 + 1 question. There's only one right answer. 1 + 1 is 2. Pull pressure means step forward. I'm I'm going to rub this hip until it'll stand still. There. That wiggling around with her feet, that doesn't count. That is not standing still. You see that post that's right behind her there? Be prepared. If she bumped into that, she'd probably jump on me. So how about if I just bring her back over here again, back her up another step, pull. Nose pressure means back up, left and right. Just rub this leg. Just rub it. There. There. She moved it again. She can stand still. Part of her trouble is she's scared. Well, she's got to get over being scared. But you get good at what you practice, and she doesn't have any coping skills either. My job is to teach her both. And don't be afraid and learn to cope with adversity. That's my job. This horse here has taught me more about patience than any horse I've ever touched. I'm going to pet this leg until she stands still. If you're going to say the things that my heroes have said, you better be prepared to live them. And if part of my program is it takes the time it takes, I better be ready to live it. Or else I'm a hypocrite, and I am not a hypocrite. I'm not going to tell people things just to get more business. I don't need any more business. I'm an old man. I'm supposed to be retired. I'm supposed to be living in Maui all the time with my feet in the sand. Actually, there's a big breath. But the horses keep dragging me back. And that's okay. Horses like this will make me as good. Horses like this will make me better. There. 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 I need to step back. Sometimes I think they get so afraid that they just freeze up. And if you don't move them around, you might be just lighting the fuse on a keg of dynamite. See how she's wiggling with that foot? I'm going to keep rubbing that foot until it stands still. There we go. Now she's standing on the flag, but we need to unstick her anyway. Left and right. left and right. She needs to step that foot back. So, it takes the time it takes, but if you have to escalate, escalate. Because if you can't get it taught, you're not doing yourself or your horse a favor. She needs to quit being so worried about stuff that she's standing there stomping. She's just stomping. You saw me fly spray her. That's anxiety. She needs to get over that. And I can't hit her until she's quiet. That sounds ridiculous. I just have to keep proving over and over again that she's not in any danger. And she has to accept it. She doesn't have to like any of this, but she has to accept it, or her future is not going to be very bright. If she would quit stomping her feet, she'd quit getting herself all fired up. This would be easier. She doesn't need to stomp on that. There, there, there. Now I'll pull her back up here. Pull pressure means forward. Now rub her legs again. And I'm going to rub her legs until she puts and stands still. There's nothing wrong with expecting the correct answer. The correct answer is, I want to rub your legs with this flag. I want you to stand still. And that's not evil. The alternative is she gets worse, she hurts somebody, or she hurts herself, and she ends up in a bad place. Well, I don't want that alternative to take place. Now we're going to rub these back legs again, but I'm not going to be rude. I'm just going to go down here and rub them. And she's going to not do that. That's an avoidance deal, backing out of that pressure. Hold pressure means go forward. If she's backing up and I'm holding her head, she ought not to be backing up. And if I keep chasing her around the pen backwards, she's never going to learn to cope with adversity. And if she doesn't have any coping skills, once again, that's not a good outlook for her. Now I'm going to do the same thing I just did, but I'm going to be on this other side. I'm going to rub these feet on this side. Looking in this other eye. And if I sound kind of aggressive, I'm trying to make a point. And the point is, it takes the time it takes. But as soft as possible and as firm as necessary. You have to use a lot of discretion when you use that. Because I'm not going to force her to be quiet. I'm going to prove to her that being quiet is good. And there is a difference. And at the same time, when I have to get a hold of her, like to back her up or make her come forward or turn her, I'm not going to weaken. I am going to make that happen. And then I'm going to pet her for trying. But I'm not just going to lose my temper and go crazy. But I am going to get the results. We're not going to quit here today until I can rub all 4 of her legs on both sides of her face. She keeps backing into this. That's an avoidance deal. And I'm not holding her. She's got the freedom to wiggle around. But she doesn't want me on this side. Well, guess what? I'm on this side. She keeps trying to get me on that side. I'm going to push her over, and she's going to let me on this side. This is part of it. There ain't no sense in saying take the time it takes if you don't get it done. You're doing your horse a disservice. You're not being fair to your horse if you don't get done what you need to get done. She can get mad. That's her right. She can also accept it just by working through some of this. Sometimes it's not cosmic, but it still doesn't have to be an act of violence. We need to practice backing up anyway. There, 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 there. Now I'm going to go back to rubbing her butt again. And I'm going to be on this side of her head. Sometimes you just have to hang in there. You gotta stay safe. Both feet stayed on the ground. So I accomplished the task that I had to accomplish. I did it without violence. I did firm up. I did it with my core belief that it takes the time it takes. We got done what we set out to do. If we would have let her not allow us to do that, we would have taught her to tell us no. And as long as she has the thought that she only has to do what she wants to do, our responsibility is to not hurt her, not get her hurt. But her responsibility is to read my intentions and follow a feel. I promised her I wouldn't hurt her. That's my deal with her. But that deal, she has to try. And, you know, she doesn't understand our deal. But I understand our deal. And if I tell you it takes the time it takes, it does. It takes the time it takes. But don't ask for something unless you're willing to get a try, or you're wrecking your horse. We don't need to teach her the bad stuff. Her fear and anxiety has already taught her that. Forward, pull pressure means forward. Pull pressure means forward, even if it is on the side you don't like. Pull pressure means forward. There. She doesn't get to back up to avoid situations that she has no coping skills for. I'm just going to rub this leg with my hand. Picked up both her front feet. Yes. Was it pretty? No. Was it ready for the farrier? No. But it's a starter. And we did all of this by just hanging in there and following our core beliefs. It takes the time it takes. And if you have to firm up, firm up. But don't firm up to Mach 10. Only firm up enough to make them try. Then get soft again. But they absolutely have to try. Try's my biggest thing out here. Try is my biggest thing. And my hypocrisy only goes so far. I might wait till tomorrow to pick her back feet up. Right means back up. There we go. I'll just settle for rubbing her back here right now. We'll just keep chipping away at her. It'll be worth it in the end. Pull pressure means forward. We'll wait. I'm a tree. Takes time it takes. I could go off to the side, but what I'm trying to teach has not got nothing to do with moving her feet. It's got everything to do with, I want her to think pull pressure means move forward. Not jaw pressure, not cheek pressure, pull pressure. Pull pressure. There's pressure on her pull right now. And I want that to mean step forward. I don't want her to sit there and brace up against that. I hate it. But if I go off to the side, it'll be cheek pressure and jaw pressure that moves her front foot. That's not what I'm trying to show her. She'll get tired of standing like a llama. She has to come up and interact. She's got to get over hiding with her head in the sand like an ostrich. She's got to confront her demons. There! Now I want her to look at me. I'll take the halter off. Rubber jaw, rubber back. And another groundwork session with Promise. She's a tremendous amount better than she was, but I do know that forcing this is not the answer. And she's tough. There you go, baby. Maybe this will help somebody out there that has a tough one. I think she'll be worth it. And I'm willing to spend the time it takes to get her better. But if you have to step it up, maybe that's the lesson in this video. Yeah, we want to be soft, we want to be quiet, but we have to get a try. They have to get better every day. If they're not getting better every day, then there's a flaw in the program. And if it takes a little bit longer than you're used to, maybe that horse was sent to you to teach you something. If nothing else, patience and perseverance. Maybe. Anyway, see ya.